Welcome back to the Daily Thunder podcast. This is a post-game edition. Oklahoma City drops the game tonight 103-106 at home to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I am joined by Daily Thunder beat writer Brandon Rahbar. Brandon, how are you?
I'm good. What a game. I mean, it was kind of the perfect scenario for the Thunder tonight, I thought.
Close game, shot to tie, falls a little short. I mean, that's not too bad.
Well, and especially because, I mean, the Thunder were down to 8 players. 3 of their 4 best players were out. They had 0 point guards. They had 2 shooting guards. One of them has played 24 minutes in the past 2 seasons. I just felt like to be tied 103-103 with 25 seconds left and to lose on a last-second three to a team who you're battling for a top 3 pick that currently has a worse record than you. So they get a win, you get a loss, and you know, you don't feel bad about it because really this was a win for the Thunder and a loss for the Wolves. When you look at who they had and who the Thunder had, the Thunder played with so much heart and effort. I mean, it's really kind of an asterisk loss. Like, I mean, really, that was a win in more ways than one. And as far as the draft picks go, and as far as who looked better on the court and who did more with less.
Yeah, I was reading some tweets from a couple of Minnesota reporters, and they were like, that it was at halftime. They were like, that was a really bad half from the Wolves. They looked terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it was they did. I mean, I get that they don't have Karl Anthony Towns, but they still have D'Angelo Russell, who was an all-star 2 years ago. They have Anthony Edwards, who's the number 1 overall pick. They have Malik Beasley, who is Scottie Pippen's arch nemesis. They have I couldn't even say it right.
I didn't think you were going to go there.
Yeah, I couldn't think of any way to describe him other than that. He airballed one. I know he had a great game, but he airballed 1-3, and I kind of like pumped my fist and said, for Scotty. When that happened, they have Ricky Rubio. They have some good players. They should, when you're playing a team that's down to 8 players and it's mostly bench players and third stringers on a team that was purposely trying to tank, you shouldn't have to win on a last-second three.
Yeah, no question about that. The Thunder were without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luguentz Dort, George Hill, and late scratch Theo Maledon. That was unexpected. Obviously, we thought going into the game he would be your starting guard. And so the Thunder started tonight. Hamidou Diallo at point guard, Kenrich Williams, Darius Bazley, Isaiah Roby, and Al Horford. The question of the night for you, Brandon, is which starting lineup is worse? The one that started tonight or Reggie Jackson, Jeremy Lamb, Lance Thomas, Serge Ibaka, Steven Adams. This was November 14th, 2014 against the Rockets.
Yeah, that was a great pool on your part for sure. I got to say tonight, I mean, tonight's lineup, Hamidou Diallo at point guard, when we heard that the Thunder were experimenting with him playing point in the preseason and training camp, we all kind of rolled our eyes like, Hami playing point? And he started at point tonight. He didn't play just bench point guard. He started. And then the starting shooting guard was a power forward. Started the season as a third string power forward. You got Bazley playing out of position at the 3. You got Isaiah Roby, who was the third string center to start the season at power forward. And then you got Al Horford, who's obviously awesome. But other than Al Horford, it's kind of like Michael Jordan and the Toon Squad. I mean, like, he was Michael Jordan, and then the rest of the guys were the Toon Squad. They had no business being in this game at all.
Yeah.
You got to tip your hat to the effort, the heart, the hustle, the energy that the Thunder show and the coaching by Mark Daigneault. I mean, it's just impressive night after night, considering the talent disparity that the Thunder sometimes have against teams and how competitive they keep it.
No question. And I I bring up that old starting unit, and once I looked at it again, it's a no brainer. But I love referencing that game. 69-65 was the final score. A
Wow.
legendary Thunder game. Okay, so we got a new season high 26 points from Al Horford, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. We will chalk that up to a podcast bump from our new friend Anna Horford. Big shout
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
And then uh, new career high 10 assists for Hamidou Diallo. How about that? First night being the lead guard, he registers double digit assists with 16 points.
Dude, Homie got double digit assists in his first game as a point guard. Shea Gilgeous Alexander, I think, has one game with double digit assists. And the dude has been a master all season long of getting his teammates involved, getting them set up for wide open shots, driving and kicking. What I just and he's playing with better players. Normally, I don't know if it was just because it was against the Timberwolves or it was just Hami just happened to have guys that hit shots tonight. But that was my thought. I'm like, good for Hami. But then I was like, come on, what kind of crap luck for Shea?
Right.
That Hami got the double digit assist tonight.
Looking back at the game, I'm like, how did he even get to 10? Like it didn't feel like he had 10 or was even close to 10, really. Like that was a very quiet 10 assists. He almost won that game tonight with a steal on a late inbound pass by the Wolves thrown away. He takes off in transition, and I'm thinking, here we go. This is where Oklahoma City wins it.
Yeah, it felt. I thought the same thing. Like him doing it, kind of felt like Mike Muscala hitting that three against the Heat in the bubble last year that cost the Thunder their 2020 first round draft pick. That's how I felt. I got like flashes of that when Hami stole that ball in a tie game and started running the floor because really he's been finishing so well at the rim.
Yeah,
and it was a fast break, and he had teammates with him. I'm not going to divulge whether I was happy or not that they didn't convert that, but. That's what it felt like on that. I feel bad for Hamid because he didn't convert that, and then he hesitated and then missed the last second three. In a vacuum, you feel bad for him for those last two plays because he had a great night and he could have tied the game up or won it on those last two possessions. But to me, it doesn't take away from the great night and really the overall W that the Thunder got from tonight.
The quote of the night came from Coach Dagnall after the game. Quote, "We lost the game, but I felt we took a step forward tonight." From on behalf of Team Tank, yes, sir. That is exactly right. a double win, really, a double win. A loss for Oklahoma City to the hands of the team with the worst record in the West. That is as good as it gets.
Yeah, if you're Team Tank, when the Thunder lose to either the Timberwolves or the Pistons or the Wizards, that's just a chef's kiss kind of night. I mean, it's no better than that. Those are the teams that you want to lose to this season.
Yep. And right now, Oklahoma City is 13th in the West, and they are just 3.5 back of Minnesota, and they play them again tomorrow night.
Yeah, if they can hand Minnesota another win and the Thunder get another loss, and I'm curious because Al Horford could rest tomorrow if the Thunder get back one of those guards, one of the other guys, if Dort or Shea or Maladone come back, I'm sure Presti is kind of hoping that SGA sits one more night and he'll easily make the trade of Horford for Maladone or Lou Dort.
Yeah.
Resting Horford. And take the chances with that, because if you give Minnesota another win and you take another loss, I mean, long term, as far as draft picks goes and stuff, that's a big win. And maybe with Cat coming back, he should be back very soon. With Karl Anthony Towns back, maybe Minnesota gets a couple wins. They start feeling pretty good, and they feel like maybe they can try to play for the play-in and try to get some more wins. They get a little momentum going, hopefully.
One can hope. The interesting thing with Minnesota is obviously Golden State owning their pick outside the top 3. So if that pick is is in the top 3, they get to keep it. So they do have incentive to keep losing, but they're a team that's got good players. They just drafted number 1. They just made a trade, obviously, for D'Angelo Russell, traded away that pick, and along with Wiggins. Like it's a team that's looking to win games, and so hopefully tomorrow we, like you're saying, we can do them another favor. So Oklahoma City gets 12 and 10 from Baisley tonight. He didn't have a great shooting night, but I thought his defense was really good, especially in the second half.
Yeah, basically with the double-double is always nice, but like you said, rough night shooting. But for Baisley lately, his box scores look pretty solid. He had that mini slump. He's been so up and down, but if you look at his defense and the versatility of the guys that he's guarding in and out every night, you got to cut him a little slack for nights when he has an off shooting night, because he is doing a really solid job on the defensive end, and he's just kind of stretching himself this season. I think the team really wants him to lock in on defense and see what he has there. And I expect his shooting to continue to be on and off. I don't know what kind of shooter Baisley is yet, quite honestly, because it's been so up and down. Even last season, he seems streaky.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I still have hope for him because his shot fundamentally and mechanically looks pretty solid. But I like what I'm seeing on the boards, block shots, and the defensive end from Baisley.
Isaiah Roby, I mentioned a couple games ago the idea of him playing the 4, if it was even a possibility. Tonight we got to see it out of necessity. I thought he looked pretty good. Like he's a solid shooter. He moves well. He's very, very athletic for his size. Like I think he's doing a really good job.
Yeah, I think he is too. And I think it does seem like 4 would be his natural position just because of his size, not only vertically, but horizontally too. Like he's just kind of a thin guy to be playing the 5, but he's made it work because of his skill. He's a mismatch on some nights because of his shooting ability and because of his quickness and agility going up against other 5s. But you can still see that him playing the 4, and then he's not so overmatched on the other sides if there's a guy that can score down low and kind of bully him around. So I feel like ultimately the 4 would probably be his best position. And I thought he looked pretty solid tonight.
He finished with 11 points, 7 rebounds, but he added 3 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks tonight, and was a +3 in the plus minus. Al Horford, a +20. That had to have been a game high, right? No. McDaniels from Minnesota also +20. Pretty insane. Like for a team that loses a 3-point game to have a guy +20. Horford is just phenomenal. He does so many things well.
Look, man, D'Angelo Russell is a 24-year-old rookie that made the All-Star game 2 years ago, and Anthony Edwards that was the number 1 overall pick, and 34-year-old Al Horford, who was supposedly washed and on the worst contract in the league, is a better player than both of them right now. I mean, not just tonight. If you look at, their overall season and their body of work so far this season, Al Horford is still better than those guys. I mean, Anthony Edwards probably isn't a big surprise, but he's still a number 1 overall pick. Typically, a guy like that will come in and make a high impact. I know it was kind of a weak draft. And then D'Angelo Russell, he's just supposed to be better than this. I think it speaks volumes, I think, to Al Horford's ability even now that he was the best player on the floor tonight.
He does it so efficiently too. 52, almost 53% from the field tonight, 50% from 3, perfect from the free throw line. He's just a very, very efficient player, and every single game we watch from him, I think he looks more and more tradable, and should be such an appealing player to playoff teams.
He would help practically any playoff team, apparently, except for Philly, because they don't know how to use him. But other than that, he's going to help. And there's a couple of contenders out there that lost centers. Now, it's going to be hard for teams to match that salary. I think that there's a couple teams that could work for, but it's still going to be tough to match that salary and find a team that's, has the assets and bad contracts to match. I still think it'll happen over the summer and not this season. But I wouldn't be surprised when teams see what he can still do. He's shooting 43% from 3 on high volume, over 5 shots per game. And he's not washed whatsoever. He's averaging 13 points a game, over 7 rebounds, like 2.6 assists. The dude can still play, and he's still playing good defense.
Yeah. And Boston, I know he came from Boston, but um, well, before he went to Philly, but they have a massive trade exception and that they opened up from the Gordon Hayward deal. I believe that's where that came from. Um, I I feel like they're a team that could use his size, his defense, and his shooting at that position because right now they're not getting a whole lot of perimeter shooting from the 4 or the 5.
It's ironic, you're right, because Boston would be the team that could use him the most. They need a center badly. And honestly, the rest of their team is good enough to compete if they just had a center like Al Horford, who, had, great years in Boston. And they have that trade. It makes sense. Now, Danny Ainge is so stubborn with his draft picks and his assets, and he's so stingy with them. I don't know what he'd be willing to give up. But I honestly, on the other end, as great as Al Horford still is, I don't know how much it would take to trade him, only because you get off that massive contract and it frees up, money and flexibility for Presti moving forward over the next couple seasons. But knowing Presti and what he did with Chris Paul, I think that he'll hold out for assets for Al Horford because he knows that he can help teams compete and contend.
If Oklahoma City is on the edge really being a bottom feeder team around the deadline, do you think Presti would attach an asset to move Horford?
Never. Presti is never going to attach an asset to get rid, not during the rebuild at least. Like, if the team was contending and you needed to attach an asset to, get a get a player to improve the team or to get off a salary to give yourself some flexibility. But during a rebuild, he's going to be like Scrooge McDuck with his assets. He is not giving any away. He will hold on to Horford as long as it takes and not giving up an asset. Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
I agree. I'm looking at it now. So Horford's making 27.5 million this year. He gets 27 next year, and then 26.5 the next year. Boston opened up a $28.5 million trade exception with that Gordon Hayward deal.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's perfect.
I mean, it's
And
absolutely perfect. It might be a hard pill for Boston to swallow because they had him and let him go. And when you have an ex, and you have a breakup, you want to get back with him, but do you want to have to, spend that much to get back with him? I don't know. I
and
don't know.
that's something that I'm just not aware of is how what the dynamics were between he and the team once it got to that point because he just they just let him walk. He just signed in Philly. So I'm
I don't think there were any harsh feelings necessarily, but it was more of like like a Fresh Prince final they want me man type thing. I think it was just like going different directions. We're getting youthful. We don't want to spend all this money on. I just think that was the idea. They knew they're going to need to pay money to Tatum and Brown, and they spent the money on Kemba Walker.
Mhm.
I don't think it was anything negative towards Horford. It was just more like we need to allocate the money elsewhere. But now, I think it makes a lot of sense for them to take him if they're willing to take on that money and give up even a small asset for him. I think Presti would do it, and Boston honestly would be one of the favorites in the East if they had him.
No question. He's just a fantastic player. All right, I was gonna ask you. I got to talk to Justin about his experience at Staples Center. I've been meaning to ask you, what's it like at the Peak for home games right now?
Yeah, I think it's fun. Just being there live, seeing live basketball, even though it's an empty arena, and is the fake pumped in crowd noise weird? Yeah, it's weird, but you just kind of get used to it, like anything else. You always get used to anything. The energy is low, sure, but those guys are still trying hard. I mean, the effort is
Hmm.
still there. Uh, the the Thunder organization is being very safe and taking all the precautions. Like when you walk in, they take your temperature, they give you a mask. If you don't have a mask, they have hand sanitizing stations everywhere. Like you can't go 3 feet without a hand sanitizing station. And they still give you food, but it's pre-packaged. You have to sanitize your hands before you get them. There's like 6 feet in between you and the next media guy, and there's a glass, I don't know, a glass separator between you. So I got to be honest, Steve McGehee from Channel 9 is like my seatmate. I mentioned that to you last time. He's such a nice guy, and I like him. But a lot of times we're talking to each other with mask on, 6 feet away, and there's fake noise going on, or like Wu-Tang Clan playing in the background. So he's like saying something to me, and I say, "What?" And he says it again. I'm like, "Huh?" And then I just fake it like the third time. If he says it again, I just act like I know what he said because I just feel bad about it. So he might be saying, "Oh man, I got a real headache. You got any aspirin?" I'm like, "Cool, man. Yeah, that's true." I don't know. I don't know.
So now we know, everybody out there, Brandon's limit is 2. If he doesn't hear you, the third time, he's going full on faking it. Full on faking. He's not even gonna ask.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I hope Steve McGehee supports Daily Thunder, but I hope he's not listening to this episode.
Steve, get him back. Please get him back. Just ask him questions all night. All right. So Oklahoma City plays Minnesota again tomorrow night. We will be back tomorrow night for another reaction to that game. Also, be sure to go check out the new podcast that just dropped with Al Horford's sister, Anna Horford. It is really entertaining, really fun. Brandon, you guys did a really good job with that.
Thank you, man. That was a lot of fun to have Anna on. She was such an open book. She's just fun, charming. She was delightful. I highly
really
recommend
funny.
anyone
She's
to listen
funny.
to it. She was, and she spilled the tea on a lot of stuff. Al Horford coming to OKC in 2016. If KD resigned, her secret crush that she had on a Thunder player for years that she wanted to hook up with. She wanted Al to go to OKC so she could meet this guy. The Philly fans and how they treated him compared to OKC fans and how they treat it. It's a fun listen. Highly recommend. Thanks, man.
It is packed. Go listen to it, and we will talk again tomorrow night. We'll talk again tomorrow night. All right, Thunder fans, thanks so much for listening. Brandon, thank you, man.
Absolutely, man. Have a good night, Ryan.